Hello, my garden friends. Welcome to my May backyard garden tour. As you can see, there are so many things blooming and the garden is changing so fast. I'm also going to take you into the front of my house and show you how my Eden climbing rose is doing. So I hope you enjoyed today's garden tour and Eden climbing rose update. Of course, I'm going to start the garden tour right here because look at my beautiful Proven Winners Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. Now, this came back from last year over the winter time. It just completely died. I just cut off all the yucky foliage. And look what happened. It bounced back. Good old California weather. Right here I have one of those tropical milkweeds. I can't get the native milkweed to grow in my garden for some reason, but that's okay. This tropical milkweed, when I planted this last year, it attracted monarch butterflies for the very first time I've ever seen them in my garden. So I couldn't be more pleased. And if you look, there's a ton of buds all over this. My beautiful nasturtium. This all came back from seed. I planted it one time and then I just harvest the seeds after it's done blooming and then I just scatter them in my garden. But look at this, it's just growing up and we have some verbena. This is a kind of verbena that reseeds itself. It's a complete beast and it reseeds everywhere. It's kind of annoying, but at the same time, I love the way it just decides where it's gonna come back. And of course, my beautiful larkspur. I bought one plant one time and planted it here, and this thing just keeps reseeding and reseeding. And it looks like every year it just gets taller. It loves this area. It loves full sun. And I mean, I'm not a professional gardener. I got lucky with this one. Pretty soon this nasturtium is just going to take over and spill right over this pathway. And if you look in here, I have broccoli heads forming. That's so exciting. And my beautiful Elizabeth Bougainvillea, or Bougainvillea, however you want to pronounce it. This is the second year and this thing just took off. Now I still have to think of a plant to grow up this arbor. I'm thinking about growing another Bougainvillea, maybe a pink one, because I know them so well and I know how they perform for me. So why not have two, just different colors? Inside the vintage bathtub, I also have some of those sweet potato vines. I love the way the chartreuse color bounces off that pink bubble gum. Because the weather's warming up, I did plant some vinca. See, here's another one of those verbenas. Those just love to pop up wherever they want. Here's a little back view of my garden. Because I let everything reseed, my garden never looks the same from year to year. And it's always fun trying to walk back here. It's like a little jungle. I don't want to disturb anything because I just love the cottagey wildflower look. Look at my verbena, how tall it's getting. Oh, more larkspur over here. This one's pink. I mean, it's just starting to bloom. It's just starting to reach its peak. This is my favorite time of year when this happens, when everything just comes back from seed and it's a complete surprise. I mean, I can plan some things in my garden like annuals and stuff, but when things come back from seed, I have no idea what they're going to do. And it's always a fun surprise, and that's what I love about just letting things come back on their own. Makes the garden interesting, that's for sure. This is my little fairy garden. I just tipped over a vintage wash bucket, so it looks like it's spilling gravel out of it. All my little Dollar Tree decor, my grandkids set this up and do whatever they want when they come over. So it's kind of like a little area for them as well. I got that little chair at an antique shop for $10. I thought that was a really good price. Oh, and my clematis is blooming. Look how beautiful that is. And there's my beautiful euphorbia with the most beautiful, tiny little delicate flowers that you can't really see unless you get up close. Let's take a little walk over here so I can show you my beautiful proven winner Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, the main one that steals the show. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? So what I've started doing different this year, I learned from watching other YouTube channels. We need to fertilize our plants with not just slow released fertilizer, but a liquid fertilizer as well, because the plants sometimes need an instant feeding, especially these petunias that are so prolific and they bloom so much. They need a lot more than slow released fertilizer. These Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, or any of the Supertunia Vistas, they are heavy feeders. They need a lot. So I would imagine if I didn't give it all that liquid fertilizer, water-soluble liquid fertilizer, that's what it's called, it probably wouldn't look as good as it does right now. So I'm glad I started learning. I'm 62, and it just goes to show that it's never too late to learn new things, right? Right over here, I have some Gara. Behind that is a butterfly bush. All those little daisies just pop up from seed. And I have more nasturtium growing over there. And a fig tree. Sometimes the birds beat me to it and I don't get figs. But that's okay, because a lot of things I grow are for the wildlife anyway. If I can get a couple, that's fine, but I am so happy to feed the birds. Right below that is a little dianthus. I think it's also called Sweet William. I'm definitely going to start growing more of that. I planted that last year, and then over the winter it was done, and I just cut it back, and it came back on its own. And it's actually bigger and stronger. So yeah, I definitely need to plant more of that. I call this area my water fountain garden. It's just a little solar water fountain that I picked up because there's no way I could have brought electrical out here. Look at my beautiful clematis. And it's starting to grow up the trellis as well. And behind the water fountain, I have some chartreuse heuchera. I love heuchera, and I've been growing it for a long time, but I can honestly say I've never had heuchera get this big before. This area hardly gets any sun at all, hardly none. And look at it, it's so beautiful. And as you can see, I have another clematis right there. It's a different one. That is a white Natchez crepe myrtle. It's one of the biggest crepe myrtles there are. So I'm hoping that it'll make a beautiful canopy and kind of obstruct the wires and telephone poles behind it, because I do live in a city. And below the white Natchez crepe myrtle, I have some of the lily turf. They make these pretty purple flowers. And behind that is an agapanthus. It's called Snowball. It makes snowball flowers. And those 3 stacked benches, I call that my propagation station. It's where I grow all of my succulents because they get morning sun and they do really good there. And it's where I do a lot of my succulent propagating. So I call it my propagation station. On these 2 trailing plants, those are called string of pickles. I started with 1 plant. My daughter gave it to me, and I took cuttings and I just stuck it in other pots, and they seem to be growing really good. And on top of that are some little bird houses that I picked up at thrift stores. Yeah, this is my little happy place, my little paradise, my small garden that I just try to squeeze in whatever I can. So I would love to know your opinion about something. I was thinking about putting a little bistro set right there on those bricks, right where Abby is. There's Abby. Do you think that would be too much and too crowded? Tell me what you think. I could spray it maybe white or black. What do you think? Do you think a little bistro set would look good there? I'd love to know your opinion. And of course, what would a garden tour be if I didn't show you my little happy place? The little corner in my backyard that just makes me smile. I just picked up that cute little miniature rocking chair at a thrift store. And inside that terracotta pot, I actually made that with some old tiles. I kind of like made a mosaic on the terracotta pot. I filled that with a coleus, and John just gifted me with that beautiful pot from the nursery, and we transplanted our Japanese maple in that. My hellebore is still blooming. This is the first time I've ever grown one. I'm really not quite sure how long they bloom for. But look at my beautiful amaryllis blooms. I know most people force those to bloom during the Christmas season, but I just let mine bloom when it wanted to, and look how stunning this is. And inside that vintage sink, I'm growing a maidenhair fern. I know on my last garden tour video, a lot of people asked me, what is my secret for keeping it so lush and healthy? The truth is, I don't have one. I just water it about once a week in the summertime. And during the winter, I kind of ignore it. And it just loves this spot. I got very lucky because, trust me, I am not good with houseplants at all. And I also have some shovels that I just throw a little paint on and make them colorful. One of my favorite garden signs is, don't worry, be happy. That's just my whole approach in life. And the reason why I am able not to worry and be happy is because of Jesus. As promised, here's my beautiful Eden climbing rose. This is the second year, the second spring that it's blooming. Last year I may have only gotten about 3 buds. This year I'm getting so many more. So definitely the second year, if you have an Eden climbing rose, it'll perform way better for you. This is 2 different shrubs, one on each side that I picked up at the big box store. I think I paid $12.99 or $13.99 for them. But I absolutely love it. At the time, I was really gardening on a tight budget, so I couldn't afford one of those own root Eden climbing roses. So these were just the ones I picked up at the big box store, and I would say they're doing very well. They're almost at the top of the trellis. Look at all the beautiful blooms. Now keep in mind that if I were to just grow the canes straight up, oh, it would have reached the top way sooner. But that's not what I did. I kind of wove them in and out because then you get more blooms that way. Because when the canes go sideways, then all the shoots with blooms go up. That's what I've learned, and obviously it worked. Look at all those beautiful blooms. Second year. Isn't it just so romantic and whimsical? And in case you're wondering, I do fertilize these roses. In fact, this is the first year that I've actually started fertilizing all my plants. I really didn't understand the importance of fertilizer. So that's my little Eden climbing rose update for the viewer who wanted one. If you have any more questions, just ask. I hope you enjoyed today's garden tour, and I hope you have a beautiful day in your garden too. Bye.